Hello everyone and welcome back to the next installment of our 9.2 raid guides, proudly presented by Coinbase. This is Crzypck from Team Liquid, and today we'll show you how to kill Halondrus in the Heroic Sepulcher of the first ones. Apologies if you can hear a bit more background noise than usual today. This video is being recorded live from Team Liquid's Race to World First event. This is a 3-stage encounter with intermissions between each stage. Stages 1 and 2 are the same, while stage 3 changes things up a bit. Halondrus is stationary except during the intermissions. There's one overarching theme to this fight. You are playing goalie. Let's jump right into the mechanics. At the start of the encounter and throughout the fight, the boss will cast Seismic Tremors. This creates several lines of swirlies. Don't stand in these. However, pay attention to which lines of swirlies are the lighter color. This will matter, as we'll discuss shortly. Once the swirlies explode, a blue circle will spawn at the end of each line called an ephemeral fissure. These fissures will all immediately spawn ephemeral motes, small blue floating orbs which move towards the boss. If any reach the boss, they'll explode, dealing heavy raid damage immediately, and also applying a nasty dot. You'll want to ensure the motes never touch the boss, meaning you'll be spending all fight playing goalie. When a player runs into an orb, it'll bounce backwards towards the fissure it started at. This also deals mild damage to the player who ran into it. You'll be doing this repeatedly to keep the orbs from ever reaching the boss. However, orbs spawned by the two fissures from lighter colored swirlies will start with a fractal shell on them, preventing them from being knocked back. To counter this, you'll need to use another of the boss's abilities against him. Halondrus will periodically cast Light Shatter Beam at the tank, which is a large laser that hits anybody hit in its path for heavy damage plus a dot. The boss will rotate for this, following the tank while casting to ensure the beam actually hits the tank. Here's why all of that matters. The Light Shatter Beam removes Fractal Shell from the motes. So, what you'll want to do is have the tanks aim the laser at the motes with the shells, breaking the shell and allowing them to be knocked back. Another mechanic related to the orbs is a debuff called Crushing Prism. This will slow the targets by 2%, growing in intensity over 16 seconds. This debuff can be dispelled. When it's removed, whether by dispelling or simply expiring, it'll drop a puddle on the ground that deals moderate ticking damage and slowing anyone within it. However, that slow effect also affects the orbs. So, what you'll want to do is have the debuffed players run towards where the orbs are coming from, drop the puddle somewhere between the fissure and the boss. You can then knock the orbs back into the puddle, slowing them dramatically. Aside from things related to the orbs, there's a few other persistent mechanics you'll need to worry about. Periodically, the boss will cast Earthbreaker missiles, putting a small circle around everybody in the raid. A few seconds later, the circles explode, dealing mild raid damage. This also leaves a void zone under your feet the size of the circle. A few seconds later, the void zones explode as well, dealing moderate damage. Spread for the circles, and then get out of the void zones. If you get hit by both, you'll probably die. On top of this, you'll see several large floating orbs around the room. There will be multiple of them on each side of the boss, and one per side will shoot a laser at the ground, creating a small circle that hurts you if you touch it. Oh, and it rotates. This is called Planet Cracker Beam. It's bad. Don't touch the moving circles. The last ability you'll need to worry about during stages 1 and 2 is called Reclaim. The boss puts a shield on itself for 3% of its max health. While this shield persists, it'll deal growing ticking damage to the raid. The shield will also pull the orbs in significantly quicker, requiring your raid to really focus on playing goalie and constantly bounce orbs away from the boss. Between the ticking damage and the damage taken from bouncing the orbs, this phase gets really dicey, and we recommend using a raid cooldown to keep everybody stable. When the shield breaks, the orbs go back to their normal speed. As far as strategy goes, stage 1 and 2 are exactly the same. The boss is stationary in the middle of the room. Put raid markers on both of your tanks so the raid can easily see where they are for lasers. When the seismic fissures go out, dodge the swirlies and note the lighter color ones. The tank needs to ensure that the Light Shatter Beam shoots the orbs that are shielded. Make sure you don't miss, as a shielded orb could very easily wipe the raid. The rest of the raid needs to watch your feet, make sure you don't get hit by the laser. Tanks will need to swap after every laser beam. Once the orbs start spawning, make sure to bounce them and keep them away from the boss. If you get Crushing Prism, run and get yourself between a fissure and the boss, then call for a dispel. Once the puddle appears, bounce the orb you're near back into that puddle to keep it slowed. The entire raid is responsible for helping bounce these orbs back. You cannot let them reach the boss. When the boss casts Reclaim, you'll need the new card. Pop a healer cooldown as that damage ramps up to keep everybody stable, and make absolutely sure no orbs reach the boss. Orbs are top priority. Make sure to spread for the Earth Shatter missiles, and don't eat the second explosion. While all of this is going on, you'll also need to make sure you're dodging those Planet Cracker beams. The beams themselves are unlikely to kill you, and you can run through them if necessary, but it's generally better to just dodge them. When the boss reaches 78% health, and later on 45% health, he'll cast Relocation Form and stand up, starting the Gauntlet Intermission phase. During this, he'll walk towards the wall, open a door, then walk down a path to his next room. Your raid needs to follow him. You can keep nuking the boss this entire walk, so pump out as much damage as you can. While walking, the Earth Shatter missiles and crushing Prism mechanics will still occur, so be careful. There's also 2 large floating orbs in each intermission. These will explode on a timer called Shatter, killing anyone within the circle around them, and then also knocking the entire raid back. Make sure you're positioned to not be knocked off the edge. The easiest way to deal with this is to just be ahead of the boss during his walk down. Once the boss reaches the new room, he'll set his feet down again and begin the new stage. After completing the second gauntlet, you'll enter stage 3. Here, the boss will continue creating orbs, keep throwing Earth Shatter missiles, and keep casting Light Shatter Beam. On top of this, Planet Cracker Beam is ramped up, and it will now create a spinning wall with no openings, effectively splitting your raid in half. You'll want half the raid to go to each side of the wall to make sure that there's someone everywhere to bounce orbs. During stage 3, there's 2 mechanics notably missing, Crushing Prism and Reclaim. As such, you'll have no real way to slow down the orbs, so this phase is actually really intense. We recommend using Bloodlust as soon as the boss sets his feet in stage 3. You'll want the raid split evenly around the room, and every single player is responsible for helping soak the orbs. The entirety of this phase is playing goalie. 1 orb reaching the boss is almost certainly a wipe here, so every single person needs to contribute to help bounce them backwards. As the Planet Cracker Beam spins around, you have really 2 options of how to handle it. Option 1 is to have the entire raid rotate with the beams, keeping everybody split in half. This is difficult, but certainly doable. Option 2 is to just have everyone stay where they start. The beam doesn't actually kill you instantly, and if you run directly through it, you'll be mostly fine. Doing this actually makes stage 3 a fair bit easier, as you'll simply move through the Planet Cracker beams and everyone just stays in their set position within the room to soak the orbs. Either way, the idea is the same. Do not let any orbs touch the boss under any circumstances. Don't die to the Earth Shatter missiles. Use healer cooldowns for the Earth Shatter missiles to keep everyone stable. Don't get hit by the tank's laser. Kill the boss before you get overwhelmed and you die. If you enjoyed this guide, remember to like it and make sure you're subscribed to the channel to catch all of our previews, guides, kill videos, and more. A big thank you to Coinbase for making guides like these possible. From everyone here at Team Liquid, have a great day, and we'll see you for the next video.